There are silent heroes among us. We see them every day. We see them on our way to work, at the grocery store, at the gym. They could be our neighbors, our colleagues, our friends, our parents. These are the people that have lived lives we know very little about, that have overcome challenges and obstacles we couldn't even imagine, and have learned great lessons through their struggles that, when shared, have the power of changing other people's lives and ultimately bringing us all closer together. Collective Conversations, Everyday Heroes, Extraordinary Stories is an opportunity for us to hear those stories from those silent heroes. Hello, welcome to Collective Conversations, Everyday Heroes, Extraordinary Stories. I am your host, Joseph Nicholas Massey. More importantly, our guest today is Nolan Carll. Nolan has a pretty amazing story. And for the young man that he is, he's already lived a number of lives. Early on in his life, experiencing great loss, learning the value of family and together, and this no quit attitude that it's carried him through most of the difficult phases throughout his life, which he's going to take us through today. Battle with some mental health and really not understanding what was going on with him, and how that whole phase in his life was this next level of self-exploration, which mental health challenges can really take us on. And then moving into his career, finding his way, and ultimately his most important role as father to his daughter River, and how everything he does, including taking really good care of himself, really depends on and is motivated by his love for her. It's a wonderful story. I hope you enjoy it. I think you will. And if you know someone who has a great story, maybe it's you, maybe it's someone you know, please let me know. I'd love to either talk with you or someone that you know who's got a great story, and perhaps we can get them on here and they can share it with us. It's really important. These stories, they remind us of what we're capable of when sometimes we forget. So thanks for tuning in. If you do like this, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and please share. Really interested in building up this community of heroes and those that support these stories. So thank you and enjoy the episode. This
Sounds
is happening. Good. It's good to see you. So you just
too.
put your daughter to bed?
Yes, I did. Yes, sir. River, she's 5. So
River. Oh, dude, it's a
yeah,
great name.
thank you.
5. Man, is that your only child
It
so far?
is. Yeah.
Or who knows? Maybe you're done. I don't know how, That's exciting. Awesome. Cool. Well, yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for making time at this
Absolutely.
hour in the day. I know you had a long day. Tell me a little bit about what is going on at work. You said this is kind of like Hell Week.
Yeah. So similar to Tech Week, if you're you know, so
Theater guy.
yeah, theater guy, which I dabbled once upon a time. So but yeah. This week we had planned. We had a little bit of a shipping delay, so we're waiting right now on an item that we're going to reschedule for next week. 2 days next week. So it's kind of a little bit of more of an open discussion today, covering things such like NASCO level 2 MACP inspections. We started out by covering our confined space program, vertical rescue plan. And then, we went into diving straight into, okay, how do we do inspections? Everybody's certified. NASCO
So
certified.
just for some context, right? You work at
Yeah,
DLZ and you work in their construction services, right?
formerly, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And
yeah,
so
yeah, and
you're in the middle
actually,
of training. Is that what you're doing? Training and
yeah. So now I'm at Quality Engineering Solutions,
okay.
and we um so at DLZ, I will say that they are a very, very solid firm. And they can build leaders, they really can. Um, and they give people opportunities for themselves to decide destiny, right? And that's the way I saw it, opportunities to improve. And, you know, I guess they saw it as, if you're trained, if you are certified, you know, uh, here's some concrete equipment, show me how to use it.
Mm.
And so I, take that approach in every aspect. And I had people over the years like Bill Hansen at PennDOT. Sorry, my voice is a little raspy. I'm actually
Love it.
losing my voice currently. I talked all day in training.
Oh man.
And full
Want me to do
disclosure,
want me
Saturday
to
I
do
was
all
up
the talking? You just can nod your head and I'll fill things.
Saturday I was up in Erie steelhead fishing with my brother and my father and younger brother, and we were staying at my older brother's camp up in Ripley, New York. And anyway, we happened to stumble across the road. There's a bar right across the road from the campground, and I was letting her rip on some karaoke.
Is that
And
right?
so that doesn't help things. And then, obviously Monday and Tuesday walk in and just, constantly talking.
Dude,
So,
I gotta
yeah,
tell you, Nolan, like you're I mean, we crossed paths, right? I came in and did a training with you all, right? And
absolutely. Yeah.
that's what right,
Yeah.
right?
Total
And
respect too.
thanks, man. I had a great time with you guys and gals. And what I love, first of all, you're here because you saw a post
Hmm.
of a previous podcast episode,
Yeah.
and you were so honest with your response and kind of what that. I mean, I don't think you were going to post that when you woke up that day, right?
Oh,
You
heck no. I just
you
happened,
saw the episode.
I hadn't even been on LinkedIn since before Christmas. And so I was just kind of like scrolling through on my phone. I'm like, oh, that's pretty, that's a
Yeah.
pretty cool post,
So you see this clip,
So
and
yeah.
then it triggered something in you, and you wrote this phenomenal post, and I was like, look at this guy. Like he went from 0 to 100 and shared this like really um very honest, dare I say, kind of like vulnerable journey in a nutshell. You wrote it really well, and it
Well,
was like
thanks.
you
Yeah.
talked about breaking a record, a 3-point, shooter at your
Yeah,
school,
ninth
and then you got
grade.
it.
Yeah, that doesn't count though.
Yeah, all right, that's fine.
I
But
was
what
quickly
stood out to
reminded by
me
that.
what stood out to me was a couple things.
Yeah,
One is you talked about 2025 leading into 2026, and
yeah,
you used the P word, which always grabs my attention, which is presence. You're like a stronger presence, and then you talked about some depression, and
yeah,
overcoming that.
yeah.
And then I was like,
That's what I
all right,
was getting into. Strongly reminded, grounded by injuries. Honestly, and the mental effects that come from losing confidence in yourself.
yeah, yeah. And then I was like, all right. I was like, all right, this guy's just scratching the surface here. I got to get him on the podcast. We had a call. I
Yeah,
had a hunch. I had a hunch. I had a hunch that you had a story, and my goodness, you do. And so we're gonna jump into some of that. But before we do, in kind of my fashion, which is a guest says something, and I'm like, oh wait, hold on. So you just talked about karaoke. You just talked about theater. You know, uh, with all due respect, when I first met you, I did not think, you were an actor or a theater guy because,
More choir than
well,
anything.
being quiet.
Yeah.
And why? Because you're a relatively quiet, kind of like, reserved guy at first, right? So now I'm learning all this stuff about you being someone
I
who
like
was,
to know the room before I open my mouth most of the time.
that is a wise approach. So tell me a little bit about, let's go back, and I'm interested to hear your experience. First, what was this little theater stint you had, and what drew you to that?
Women.
Okay, that's pretty
All
common.
my coaches knew it.
Is that right?
They're like, "Dang it." Yeah.
And how did that work out?
Good for a while. Yeah. Yeah, high school sweetheart.
Nice.
Yeah, we moved on. So,
Right, right, right.
like 5 years, something like that.
Now, at what point in your life was that?
Oh, probably sophomore year. Yeah.
Sophomore year, so you were like 15,
Lighten it up
16. Yeah,
in basketball.
yeah, that's right. Well, hold
So
on, sorry, go
yeah,
ahead. Go ahead.
um, my ninth grade year, I had my coach was Big Steve, my uncle. He, he's just happy-go-lucky, you know? Anyway, and then, Bill King, and they could coach. They coached a lot. I mean, our entire childhood growing up. And so, Coach Davis, John Davis, he started a basketball program in 5th grade, starting in 5th grade, and developed talent from 5th grade until you hit varsity. And it was a great program. Stats, stats. And, he was looking at everything, tape, film, and he was going down to the local Y, and then Coach Pauly, Jeff Pauly, involved. Just, people in the community, just in Oil City, that the way it used to be anyway, people looked out for each other, and
Where'd you grow up?
Dempsey Town, but I went to Oil City High School.
Okay. And where is that? Is that in Indy?
It's in Pennsylvania.
That's in Pennsylvania, okay.
Yeah, Northwest Pennsylvania, and Venango County specifically.
Okay. All right. All right, so let's now go a little bit deeper into that time in your life.
Sure.
Let's talk about one of the, it seems like, the most formative experiences that you had. If you want to take us back to right around 7, 8 years old, and lead us what was happening before that, and then talk a little bit about how your life changed, your family's life changed, and
Sure.
what was it like before that, shortly,
Yeah,
and then.
man, it's heavy. So, we my parents, they were growing up, they were figuring it out. Started a family, bought a nice chunk of land out in Dempsey Town, hometown. They both went to Oil City, high school sweethearts. And anyway, they were on the verge of living the American dream, I think, you know. Um,
Tell me how so, what do you mean?
so my dad, he just became an entrepreneur. They were both the first out of their families to go to college. Um, and so my father was an electrician. He got that kind of skill from my grandfather. Now, little segue, my grandfather, Triple B, Big Bad Bill Carl, um, G-Paw, he he raised a family, veteran, was there with Nazis. And, when he got out of the service, he raised a family, that's what he lived the American dream. We lived the American dream. We had, acreage out in Dempseytown that my father, like I said, he was an entrepreneur. He went from, working in, factories to, buying a salvage yard. It was a whole new ball game for him. And at the time things were really booming in the steel industry and things of that nature. This is, 95. And, my mom, she's a registered nurse, worked for the PA Department of Health, retired. My dad, he is now in the process of selling his salvage yard. That's basically his retirement. And yeah, so I mean, everybody now, fast forward, is doing great. We're doing really well. Most of us are medicated after I get into what I'm about to tell you. So, I always you talk about mental health being huge, so
Yeah. Yeah.
I did want to touch on that prior to getting into this, because there's things that happen in life that you don't see coming, that you absolutely have no idea what you're going to do with that,
Mhm.
and you make decisions based on who knows, you know, you just make it through, right? I mean, that's life. Life happens. Life just can totally wipe you out. And it's whether or not you have the grit, the guts, the will, to perform, to keep going, to, take a second and maybe realize what's happening.
Mm.
Like, okay, what is driving this right now to go in a better direction? Like, how do I change the course of how this is going? You know, and in mental health, that's huge. It's self-realization. You have to dig down deep into who you are as a person. You have to look, figuratively in the mirror. I don't know. I brush my teeth every morning, but it's like it's
Yeah. Yeah.
you look at yourself in the mirror, and really get to the bottom of what the problem is, because 99% of the time it's something from within. I believe yourself, you're your own worst enemy in some way or fashion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's when you realize what you're really bad at and what your weaknesses are and how you can be better, and how to perform at a higher level, and learning how to control emotions, you know, um, because
Emotional regulation, kind of like.
yeah, all that plays. So, over a lifetime, my lifetime so far, 35, um, I,
Just
I
want to
feel
share that
like
with you real quick.
at the age of
Want
8, there it is, respect.
just want to represent little sponsor.
Yeah, at the age of, or not 8, I was, 9, somewhere in there. Uh, we lost our house, and it was a battle. I can say that. We moved into tents on our front yard to figure out what we were gonna do in April of '99, I believe. And you know,
So up until that point,
it
your
was
your
great.
mom's doing good, your dad's
It
doing
was
good,
awesome.
right?
Yeah, and I'm so fortunate to have been old enough to know what. You're eating Cheez-Its? I thought you were in bed.
Now she's got now
Yes,
now she's
please.
got to say hello. Could you say hello?
Yeah.
Is he there?
All
No.
right. I love you. Um, so dogs pay the
So things
visits.
were going your dad's doing well, your mom's doing well. You have how many brothers and sisters at this point?
Yeah, I have 2 brothers and a sister.
Alright, 2 brothers, sisters, and then what happens?
Um, well, yeah, too much of the wrong, you know thing, a mixture of, the wrong chemicals to kill, carpenter ants. You know what I mean? Like, a guy didn't know what he was doing, he really fucked up. I was getting hand tremors, I was trying to learn how to write cursive back when they taught it. I don't even know if they're still teaching. And my hand was going like this, trying to hold a pencil, and when I was like 9. I developed asthma. There was things that happened, and within
So you had
6
these
months.
carpenter ants, and you brought in the exterminator, and they
Yeah,
and
fools.
there was chemicals that
Yeah,
something
just
happened.
I that's all I can tell you.
Okay,
Legally I can't, dive into that really.
got it. Okay, okay,
I guess there's paperwork out there that says we really can't talk about it.
got it. Okay.
2020 approached our parents back when this happened, and they're like, "Can we do this article on you guys?" And my parents were like, "Hell no." We're from Northwest Pennsylvania, Dempseytown. Like, we don't want to be known. That's why we live here, And like I said, we didn't have, internet at all, you know. And then like when DSL came around, like that was the hottest item. But by that time, I was like basically in college. So like that was a whole nother development, being from Dempseytown at that time, and Oil City didn't really have a CAD class for engineers, right? So I was already behind a tick before I even got to college, as far as being computer savvy and all that stuff. So that was a learning curve for me big time. It actually set me back a little bit. I still got good grades, but mental health played a role in failing a couple classes, and before I would flunked out, I actually dropped out, and I got my head right. I got on medication, saw a psychiatrist, did therapy, went through the whole 9 yards just on my own. When I say on my own, like people around me thought I was doing drugs, but it's being bipolar and not knowing it and letting the beast out of the cage, man, because it is a bear to manage that. I am telling you right now. It is no joke, and that's why I believe in medication. I think it's a great thing if you know what works for you. But then again, like I don't know, it's one of those things where it's self realization. I mean, you got to dig down deep, man, and find the root of the cause, and then be open with it, and come out with it, and talk about it, and do it in therapy or do it with your best friend, whatever it takes. But it's important to release that energy, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so if it's okay, can we rewind because
Yeah, I'm hopped up on coffee. This is kind of late for me right now.
yeah.
I got a little bit of chaga mushrooms I found hunting.
Alright. Really? A real
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, a little bit of a forager.
That's cool. 8 years old, you essentially how much property you have at this? Because your dad had a huge plot of land, right? Yeah, how many acres?
Yeah, they have 55 acres out in
Okay,
Dempseytown now.
so
Uh,
55 acres, you're in this house, there's an issue that happens that we can't go into the details, but you basically you can't live in your house anymore.
no, no, and we can't even. Everything in it was lost. We couldn't take anything.
Everything was destroyed, lost.
Couldn't touch it.
And then you move out on your property and you're
Yeah,
living in
like
tents.
hermits.
You're living in tents.
Yeah, literally in the front yard for a couple months. And then, the hotels came next, for extended times. And meanwhile, we're all going to school, you know. My daughter's now singing. It's all right.
It's fine.
It'll be a late night. This is only going
Yeah.
till 10 o'clock anyway, so we're all good. She's going
Yeah.
with her mom tomorrow.
Yeah.
um, yeah. So, um, the yeah. One moment, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if my dog said hi or not.
So you're moving out. You're in the tents, and you're still going to school.
Yeah,
And how long did that last? What kind of impact did that have on you and your family? Like, what was going on at that
to
time?
be told. I mean, like I said, we were going through physical problems at the time and living in our front yard in a lean-to over tents in April. Like it was shock, and then, like I said, we moved into a hotel. It was better. Then, campers like Nate and I, my older brother, we lived in like a 15-foot camper that you put on the back of like a
The
truck,
hit. Yeah.
yeah, the back of a pickup, you know. Uh, and then Evan and Lena and my parents, they were in like a 30-foot camper right next to us. Wish I could say it was like Trailer Park Boys, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
these were bad times, and we finally caught a break. But we moved 13 times during that entire period of time,
What was that time period? How long?
almost a decade,
10 years. You were
almost.
out.
Um, and like I said, we moved 13 times, man. Like I tallied it up one time, like moving from college and going to internships and, you know, uh, different places over the years that I've moved. I'm over 30 moves, you know, and like I own my home now, staying put. I'm so happy,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's, what it's all about,
So
finding
not a lot
finding
of
peace of calm.
stability. Not a lot of stability in that.
No, we didn't have anything. No stability. I mean, we're literally physically, mentally, completely shook. Um, but my parents, they kept it together the whole time. I mean, they fought and stuff, but as far as, keeping our family together, like we had each other too, so we made it through. I mean, us siblings, like we relied on each other, and Nate was a great older brother. Like he was the leader, and I want to talk about like, well, I want to talk about a lot of things because we'll get there in the rebuild, but uh, our family in general just really stepped up and helped us, rebuild, and everybody being physically capable at the time. All of my cousins and uncles and aunts and everybody helped out watching kids and building the house and plumbing and heating and everything when we rebuilt after, 3 disasters, right? Which we can get into that. We had, like I said, previously lost our house. Then um, we had a tree fall through a single wide trailer we were living in that we improved from, tents to mobile homes to campers, um, to a single wide trailer. And that was a big upgrade. Um, we lived in Oil City for a short period of time. During that 10, like 8 to 10 year stint, somewhere in there, 8.5. Um, during that time, uh, we lived in Oil City for about 2 years in a yellow brick home. And that was okay, but we were still going to school in Dempseytown. We didn't want to change schools, so we were still an
Commuting.
Oakland Eagle. We were still going to school. We were Dempseytown kids.
Yeah.
So And we were living in Franklin in the hotel for a year or however long, half a year. Um, and still going to Oakland Elementary School.
So how
So
much did this time of rebuilding and the support from your family and really using your hands a lot, how much did that inform the work that you do today? Was that like say that again?
all of it. Yeah, for sure. The things that we went through, the house fire. Nate woke up in our single wide trailer, the second one, I think, maybe the first one. A lot of trauma. Sometimes I get my timeline mixed up. That's why I sent you that article. I
Mm,
wrote it in high school, and it was in chronological order, the way things happen. And you know, I kind of rely on that to keep my memory straight.
yeah, yeah.
But uh, anyway, you're in one of the two trailers. Nate woke up to grab a glass of water or a glass of milk out of the fridge at like 5 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it was. And it was still dark. And the house that we were forced out of in 99 was on fire. And he woke my dad up. He runs out in the skivvies with a garden hose, and he's trying to put we're running down to the pond with buckets and running up, trying to dump it on. And, the whole community showed up, like every volunteer fireman in the area.
Mm,
And, it really did saved our home. But the good thing was we live in a Girl Scout camp. So most of the home was like a sandstone and just like brick and mortar, just slap together. But like the walls are, this thick,
yeah,
of just
yeah.
straight stone. Um, and you don't see that, anymore. That kind of, you call it architecture if you want to, Um, so it was that, I mean, losing everything, and now it's on fire. Like, come on, man. And, thanks to God, like he put us through hell, like, and we keep fighting back. Like we keep bouncing back. And the no quit, you don't quit, attitude, you know, that, that's what it takes. And people don't know that. Like people don't, like, that's going away now.
Mm,
Like I see it. Like it's so hard to hire now. Like there's a whole lot of quit in the world right now. Like in my eyes, like I'm seeing a lot of quit out there.
mhm.
But yeah, I would say going back to the question, yeah, I'd say all of it. The drive, the determination, the no quit, and then, the ability to sit back and like take a step back and realize like, okay, I am okay. I am fine. You don't have to have that go get attitude all the time. You need to relax. You need to sit down. You need to take a breather. Like all that matters. But it took me a long time to figure that out. Uh, but
That idea that it's important
yeah,
to slow down in the midst of
yeah, you need to hone in.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's good to go hard, but it's also really important to slow down and make sure you're still aware of what you're doing, the pace at what you're going.
yeah. Pace is,
Even
and just like if you're hiking in the woods for miles, pace is everything. You got to know your pace and stay in your lane. Uh, because you got to know your role, just like on a basketball team. Know your role on the team, and perform at a high level at that role, and help the team win. You know, and that's the way I see any corporation I join. Like, and the one I'm in now, QES, like Lydia Kennard, she's our owner. She's amazing. This is so funny. We were at PNC Park at the baseball game for our like company outing in the summer, and River's yelling at me again. But she came up. She came up to River came up to Lydia while I'm talking to her, and River's tugging on my shoulder like she's doing now, you know. And I'm like, "Yeah, honey," and she's like, "I need to." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "No, I need to go potty. I need to go poop." I'm like,
Oh,
"All right, let's go," you know. And Lydia goes, "It's okay. You want me to take her?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is the most genuine thing I have ever heard." Out of a high profile person I'm talking to and so much respect for. And, she's offering to take my daughter to go to the bathroom. I'm like, that's the sweetest thing ever, and I work in poop, like I have no problem wiping my daughter's ass. You know what I mean? Thank you very much though for the gesture. I mean, I thought it was the sweetest thing ever. I don't know. That'll be funny to share, but that's a true story. I probably maybe should have thought about that one before I said it, but
yeah.
it was
Well,
very cute.
I don't know a ton
Yes,
about.
honey.
Bring her in, man. Tell her to come and say hi. She could sit with you.
Yeah, River. Here, honey, you can lay down right here if you want to. It's okay. Go get your blankie, okay? Sorry about.
That's all right. I'll edit whatever we need to edit out. It's all.
Yes, I'm really busy, and finding time to sit down and have a conversation even is pretty. You get to that point, but um with that said, with marketing anything, you need to have your voice out there. You need to be talking to people. You need to have friends. You need to have acquaintances. You need to have people who to call when you need to call, and I, you know, I don't know, but that was a tangent.
It's all right. So tell me, so you're in school, you're taking architecture. What are you studying?
So I
And then
started at the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown in civil engineering technology, and at that time I was ABET accredited. I don't think the degree there is anymore, but um, the
so how did you get from withdrawing from school, high school, to
yeah.
college?
So to go back, like back to the house thing, I don't want to harp on it, but when we were rebuilding, we were taught how to dig ditches, with a mini excavator at a young age. Like, I'm 13 running, I'm running our ditch for our, storm drains around the house, and our house is there. Like I can't hit it. We're building it, I'm 13. But that goes back to your dad having a salvage yard and giving you a Subaru at the age of like 11. And he's like, yeah, just go run in the woods. It's fine, you know? And it was all good, man. But that's growing up in Dempsey Town. Like that's what it was. We had fun, and it was all fun and games. Like everybody was watching after everybody's kid. Everybody's neighbor knew everybody. Like, and everybody knew who was running out back in the yard. Like everybody had everybody's back, and that's what a community's about. That's what a team's about, right? Like, so yeah. You want to say hi?
Hello.
Peek your head up.
Hi, River. Oh my goodness, you're adorable.
Yeah, she's pretty cute.
That's awesome. And you had some other things that were life changing. So you have
Mhm.
this event. It teaches you about family, how people come together, this idea of like never giving up.
Yeah.
And then something happens with your brother.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had Will City basketball coach John Davis coached the best team that he's ever coached. I can't say that out of his own mouth. Like he has to say that himself, but in my opinion, that was his best team. And they had Jacob Pauly at point. Uh, just Nick Stallone, PJ McGinney, okay, Adam Brzezinski, my cousin Adam Carl, Justin Carl, they're brothers. My brother Nate, um, Steve Mung, he was like 6'8", and almost all of them could dunk, like 90% of them could. And Nate's 40 years old this year, and he can still dunk. Yeah, and he ran the 100K in one day. The Rabid Raccoon, it's a Beaver County race. He ran for 17 straight hours, finished a 60-mile race. And knowing what you know, after that, uh, he had a car accident, right?
Yeah.
With my two cousins and Steve Mom. Unfortunately, the worst thing ever.
So take us through that. When did that happen, and what was so take us back to that.
2011 or July 11th, 2004.
And what happened? Was he driving home from a game? What was the
Yeah, they played a lot of basketball games in summer camp up at Mercyhurst, and they got tired and they were on their way home and fell asleep. Ended up on the other side of a creek bank, and it was horrible. Life flighted, uh, medically life saving surgeries. It was horrible. I will focus on the basketball. You know, Nate played that year, believe it or not. And those, and so did Steve Long, so did Adam. Adam was jumping from the foul line after the incident. He lost like 9 inches of intestine. That's no
time
joke.
was 9 inches of intestine?
Yeah, Adam's like 6'5" and could jump out of the gym. Yeah, he was jumping high jump like 6'6". That's pretty good. You're
I mean, I
jumping
know
over
it's
your
okay,
height,
you don't wanna go into the details,
but
at the
yeah,
same time, wasn't sure if your brother's gonna be able to walk or see.
no, yeah. Basically, they said he wasn't gonna walk again, and that he has like a 10% chance to ever even have his left eye. He had to have reconstructive surgery on his face and put 4 uh, rods in his back to fuse some of his lumbar together. And then, yeah,
And he ended up recently running a 60 mile,
100K.
and he can still dunk.
Needless to say, I'm pretty proud. Yeah.
Yeah, man. What's at the heart of that? I mean, does that go back to
Insanity. I'm telling you, that guy's insane.
does
Yeah.
that go back to the
Dude, he wakes up
formative.
at 4 in the morning, sits in his sauna. He'll run 8 miles before work or go lift in the gym. And then he goes to work, runs at lunch, who knows, eats sushi. And like, who knows? His diet's insane. Like, that guy is the most health conscious person that I have ever met, for sure. He's a beast. He's an animal. Just total life domination. Him and Megan both, his wife. They're both PEs, but they're both civils. High school sweethearts, married, 2 kids, perfect life. Like, boom, did it right. Just never slipped up. Continue to kick butt, and
Mm.
that's who they are.
What's at the center of that, do you think? And how much did the experiences that you have early in life influence who you are and who he is today?
We were the bigger brothers. You know, I was the one that would get caught by mom. Nate was the one that matured early, right? He was forced to. He didn't have a choice. He had to look out. I assume that role too, but I like to have a laugh. Nate, he's a little more serious than I am. I like to keep things light, airy. We have two different personalities. So, but it's all good. Like, we're best friends. I was the best man at his wedding. Our dynamic is fire. Same with Evan, like, and Lena, like, and for that matter, all my cousins. We're in it to win it together. Everybody's successful. Everybody's kicking butt. Helicopter mechanic, heavy equipment operator,
Mm.
you know, civil engineer. And I got a degree in interdisciplinary business and engineering from Penn State. That's what I finished with after, getting my head right and getting medications in me. A sword? I don't think I can right now, honey. You can try though. Here, why don't you make a nest on the floor over there? Okay. But what was the question? I'm sorry.
Well, what I'm one of the things that again, what's the word? Drew me to you and your post and your story, and it was clear to me that some things happened that formed who you are today. I
Oh yeah.
started this podcast because I'm a big believer in the hero's journey. I think you can look at your life one of two ways. Either life is happening for you and forming you, or life is happening to you and you're at the whim of it. And
Yeah. I
so now
understand that.
you have the hero's journey or you have the
Hmm.
victim.
It's funny. I'm hearing what you're saying, but I'm listening to something else. So like, I look at things like an assist, right? So like marketing your podcast, for instance, and that's not what I was doing. I was just like you made a great message. I want to call this guy out for
Oh,
doing good and making sense, because that's what
thanks.
people should do. And that's positive. That's positive energy. That's being optimistic. That's putting a hand up, and like having an assist is just as good as being a leader. And if that's your role, like, then hone that skill and push it forward, right? Let it rub off, you know.
I love that. It's a great perspective. Yeah, and I want to be clear too, in this two decisions that we get to make or how we choose to see our life, the hero's journey or the victim. I'm someone who I understand like victimization exists, like, and I have great compassion for the things that happen to people. And then there's a moment where you have to start seeing that as an opportunity to grow, learn, to overcome. And what I heard, because I know,
Improve.
yeah,
To
because I know you
It's a good
now.
thing, you know.
Yeah, because I know you now. I knew you were able to take whatever it was that happened and grow from it.
Look at it as an opportunity of growth for growth. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's embedded in who you are.
Hmm. Yeah. Recognizing opportunities. So, once you establish, your path to improving, right? Your mental health and your physical health, and you learn to maintain wherever you're maintaining, like, you know, um, as long as it's working and you're happy, uh, then learn how to not screw that up, right? Because I mean, hunting turkeys, for instance, like sitting down and having the most patience in the world for all morning. And then, you don't know it and you stand up and there's a bird, 20 yards from you, and it's been feeding there for the last hour. You just didn't see it because you know, and so like those opportunities, missed opportunities because you didn't wait, right? You didn't
Mm,
think about things, or you became impatient, even though there was still time left to make a better decision, right? So, learning the opportunity, knowing a path to improve, maintaining that, being persistent, I guess, right? You gotta stay persistent. And that, like, hone those skills and then don't screw it up, right? Like,
yeah.
and not screwing it up is the hard part. And that's when you just gotta take that extra moment and say, okay, this can wait till tomorrow. I'm gonna sleep on this, and not, if it's a text message or an email or a phone call or just that can wait, you know, make a better decision. Or, hopefully that turkey just decides to pop his head out.
What's that?
Or hopefully that turkey just decides to pop his head out.
Yeah. So hunting is a place for you to find some quiet, some peace, some
Yeah, I would say fishing, is my thing. You can see like these shop drawings of lures behind me. I don't know if you can see that, but
but yeah, yeah,
like an engineering design of a fishing lure,
yeah.
pretty sweet gift from the past, but like those. So and that's the original design foundation report of the Hollywood sign out in Los Angeles.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you how I got it though.
That's okay. It's a little washed out from the light, so I can't quite see
Yeah,
it, but
no, I
I
don't know
took
if
your
I
word
can
for it.
block that,
Yeah.
but that's hand drafted in the '70s. I think it was the second one they put out. Play-Doh.
What's that? Play-Doh?
Daughter wants. I'm gonna jack her up on candy too, so her mom's really happy with me tomorrow.
You wanna talk a little bit about your journey, uh, to mental health and
Sure,
what that I'll use the word break because I think that's kinda what it feels like sometimes when you
you gotta
realize, okay,
reset.
something broke, and
Yeah,
it's like, what was that for
there
you? And
there is a healing process.
yeah,
Mine involved a lot of sleep, man. Like depression,
rest.
right? Or depressed. If you're
Yeah,
depressed, the
yeah,
deep rest,
yeah.
like that is it for me. And I mean, that's what it was. Get on medication, stay on medication, and get deep rest. Man, you dream too. I'm telling you, like you get on the right stuff, and your mind goes, it's healing. It's healing itself.
Mm,
Especially when you get sleep. You need sleep. I mean, it's essential. Like I don't remember now, like a time where I don't try to maintain a minimum of 8 hours of sleep. If I don't get 8 hours of sleep, I am not the same person the next day. Like I don't perform at the level I
yeah.
need to.
So self-care is a big part of your world.
But yeah, yeah, and always room to improve. Try to improve.
So how did you know something was off? What
I
happened?
lost reality. Friends and family thought I was on like some hard drug. I was 3 hours away in Johnstown. They didn't know what I was doing. Everybody thought I was who knows, and I wasn't. I was just in the process of a chemical imbalance in my brain, and I didn't know it. I didn't know it. There was no guide to bipolar. There is no guide to that. Like, you need self-realization and the right medications for your personality. Like, and you know, learning how to maybe like hone in on how you feel, your breathing habits, right? Like, I do a lot of yoga, or try to.
Mm.
I used to go to a hot yoga studio when I was at DLZ in Bridgeville, and I went on a keto diet, 3 to 4 days hot yoga for 45 minutes to an hour and a half, 4 days a week, changed my diet completely, dropped 17 pounds in 30 days. And then I dropped roughly 40 pounds over the course of 3 months, got back down to like 200, which I haven't seen since then. I'm right around like 240 now again, but I was up to 260 there. So that was a little scary.
Yeah.
I'd bring it back. Sometimes you gotta lay off the cookies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you found a way, you realized that food did impact your mental health.
Yeah. Yeah. So you ask my family, I'm the cook, man. I like sharing too. I'm a share. I like to assist. Like, I like giving that ball up sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, look at LeBron James. Like, I look at him, like, I still think Michael Jordan is all-time best scorer. I think,
I'm
a leader,
glad we
a
agree
leader.
on that.
Yeah. Um, but LeBron he gives the ball up a little bit, and he's a perfect example of, like, how you can still have success and share the ball. Because if you recognize your teammates' strengths, and help them realize it, because maybe they're not to the point of that same self-realization. Like, maybe they don't even know what their strengths are yet, and maybe you just let them shine, give them the ball, see what they can do. You know,
Yeah, so look, there's something really special about you in the way, because that journey back to mental health is, it sounds like you clicked out of reality. So at what point where you're like, yeah, wow, like I need support? Because it's really
failing
easy to
grades
say I'm fine, like leave me alone. Like, what, how did you so gracefully?
wasn't graceful. I'll tell you that. It was a long, hard road. I mean, you ask any of my friends that were close to me at that time, especially the ones that were living in my roommates, they were like, "What the hell's wrong with him?" Nobody knew how to handle it, but they all supported me. They were all, there for me, but they didn't know how to really actually be present with a person, because there is no being present for me at that time. Like, I wasn't present by any means. I was in the far, far galaxy, far, far away. Uh, and I realized when I started failing that I needed to change something. What I was doing was not working. And I just needed to change. And so I dropped out. I moved in with my brother Nate. At this time, now he's my neighbor, but I bought a house out here out of Hookstown, PA, near the northern panhandle of West Virginia, like right on the Beaver County
Nice.
border
Yeah.
of PA, good country.
So
And
how old were you when you dropped out and moved in with Nate?
23, no,
Okay. So you dropped out of college for a little bit.
22. I was 4 years in on a 5-year degree. And I was in my junior level courses essentially, and I passed some of them, like soils. If I wouldn't have passed soils, I wouldn't have been able to work at DLZ. I can tell you that. The level of know-how in soils engineering is important, especially when you got to feel the dirt, feel the moisture. You got to be one with the soil. In order to do that, you need to have a little bit of an engineering background, technical background, and that helped me. Pitt Johnstown is a very technical school. We had a soils lab. We had a surveying lab where it was 3 hours and it was 1 credit. I was like, what the hell is this? All these labs, they help for the practicality of actually being out there and being an engineer, right? And so I'm in my junior level courses, and like fluids was hard for me. And I think I took it twice, and it didn't work. And I'm like, man, I feel this one more time. Like, this isn't good. And so I'm like, I need to collect myself. What I'm doing is not working. And so I dropped out. I was like, I need to get on a better path. And in order to do that, I can't be stressed, and I can't be thinking about school. And I need to work on myself. I need to get right with my brain, get my head on my shoulders, be right between the ears, get back at it as soon as I feel ready. And it took 9 months. Getting on the right medications, working as a bowling tech over at Latitude 40 in Robinson, okay, for $9.50 an hour, just to, buy groceries. I mean, I was doing dishes to pay rent with Nate and Megan, for 9 months. Like, I was just, they let me sleep, they let me pass out in the yard if I had to, a little bit too much tequila at the age of 23. It happens. And they let me totally release that energy, those demons, those bad thoughts, the horrible, everything that goes with being bipolar. You need to bring in the good and spread the positivity, the optimism. You need to give the hand up. And you know, it's just it takes so much to get there, though.
Mhm.
And not everybody does. Mm, no,
Sometimes you gotta
not
lose
yet.
your mind to find your heart and your soul, man.
Yeah. Some people have to do drugs to do
Not
that.
yet.
What?
What not yet?
What do you mean? What? Not yet?
You said not yet.
Oh, I said I'm not losing my mind just yet. Silly goose.
Cute,
Yeah.
man.
So
All right.
Yes, you are. So you.
hey,
Yeah.
my
So you
heart.
found your way, you were able family was there, you were able to rest and heal
Mm-hmm.
and find your way. 9 months,
Yeah.
you had
And
the
so
wisdom.
in this whole scholastic career, right? Like, let's go back to, working in the entire way through college. Like, I didn't stop working. As soon as I moved out of high school, I was out of the house. Like, when I was 18, that was it. Like, figure it out. And we had to do that anyway. Like, I was used to that. And I was almost too comfortable with it. And that's another reason why, right? So, like, my high school sweetheart and I are breaking up, right? At the same time, my parents are getting divorced. At the same time, I'm flunking out of college. At the same time, I'm dropping out of college. This all happened at one time. And it came in like a wrecking ball, wrecked me, totally floored me to the point where I didn't have expression on my face, and I had pale skin. Like, I looked homely. And it was just straight from not taking care of myself and, actually being out of my mind then. But that's a lot of heavy stuff, even after like everything I had already been through. And my mind, like you said, it broke. Like Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall, man. Like, I had to put myself back together. Like, it was total reconstruction. And no quit attitude. You got to keep going. Persistence, determination, passion, you know, and
Can
respect
you
for others, and
Yeah.
staying in your lane and knowing your role and honing your skills and improving and doing better and spreading the optimism, you know?
I like
Yeah.
what you said, man, and they've done a lot of research on when whether you're dealing with depression or obsessive thoughts and really ruminating and staying the research they've done on people who start doing volunteer work, start taking care of someone else, like, you talked about that, the
Yeah.
positivity.
Right now, it's my daughter, you know,
Yeah,
that right there,
yeah,
that's who I'm taking care of right now, you know?
it is
Uh,
when you
but
start
and
focusing on
staying
someone.
present,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
man.
know?
So what was your journey to presence? Like, how do you find your way to being here and now and present?
Knowing and knowing when you need to do something different. Because when you know when you need to do something different, then what you're doing right now is not working. And in order to do that, you have to be present to make that decision.
So it sounds like you know how to slow it down,
I try really hard and it takes medication. I you know,
but you have that ability to slow down and say, "Wait a second. What am I doing right now? How do I feel in this moment? Am I doing this out of habit? Am I doing this out of impulse, or is this really what I want to do?" Sounds like you have an ability to do that.
if you want to say so. I'm never gonna say I have that ability. Um, I'll say I try. I try my best, man. Nothing's 100%, you know?
No, no.
There's a ceiling of efficiency in physics, right? Like, um, Elon Musk, like, he can't get 100% efficient. It's just it's not there.
Yeah,
Unless you're
but
an
it's some
alien. I don't know,
what's
anti-gravity
that?
might be a thing. Unless you're an alien, anti-gravity might be a thing, but,
Yeah, but
um
you have this ability. It's not perfected. There is no such thing. You have this ability to reflect. You have you've been forced, and I can relate to this. This is how I got into my whole.
sorry about that.
That's okay. Yeah, but you've been forced, and this is how I got into my work around presence. I was forced to slow down.
Mhm.
Like, something brought me to my knees, and I was like, "That's not working anymore. I need to do something different." And it started my journey of slowing down.
Mhm. Yeah, and I'm not that's what I mean. Like, I I put I got my truck with 22,000 miles on it in November of 2024, and now I have, like, 75,000 miles on it. But dude, I I don't have that ability, and I'm trying, like, as hard as I can to slow down. Like, I just need to be present in my home, like, I'm really not, you know, on the weekends when my daughter's not home, right? Like, when she's here, it's all about her kid,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. She keeps you present, right?
floors me, instant brings me back, and but Yeah. Good timing.
Bless It's a blessing, man. And on that note, I'm just curious, how much is faith involved in your journey, and
It is a
or not
journey.
or
It's an
not?
everlasting journey, right? Like, nobody can really say for sure what's out there, but, um, I do, have faith, um, and, I listen.
Hmm. Say more about that. What do you mean you listen?
That's about it. Yeah, that's that's just the way I operate. I listen, I take advice, I don't ask. I don't ever ask, you know, I think if it's gonna happen, then, you gotta go out and get it, but, I feel like, he's there.
So I just have to reflect this back to you, because in order to be able to listen, you have to have an ability to slow down.
We're getting ready for bed, okay?
Can I do it?
No, please don't paint your nails right now, honey. That's adorable. I respect your creativity right now, but we're calming down. We're getting ready for bed, okay?
What is to
How about you can play Barbies in your room for half hour,
the other?
okay? Okay, you can play with other dolls, right?
Yeah, and we can wrap up soon, but I
No, we're
wanna.
totally fine. I don't know what you have, but
No, we're
we're
good.
good
I
till
I I wanna I just wanna, I wanna point something out, because I feel like you're very aware of it, but I'm not sure. Like, your ability, when you said you listen, in order to listen, you gotta be able to slow down.
mhm. 1 second. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, okay. I know what you're saying. 1 second. Let me get my daughter into her room with her Barbies.
Sure, sure.
It's really loud, and I worked around a lot of heavy equipment over the time. So, and with our quiet computers right now, it's hard to
Yeah.
hear. Yeah, it's not like she's never stayed up till 10 o'clock before. It's really not that big of a deal. But I do. Her bedtime is 8 o'clock, and I tried getting her down around 7:30. I got her into the bath around 7. I'm like, all right, I'm on schedule. This is gonna work. I'm gonna get her down. She's such a good sleeper. She's such a good eater. She has a good temperament, like such the perfect little child. She's a blessing in my heart.
Seems like it. He seems like a very happy kid. So yeah, let's share, tell me a little bit about your understanding of, so in order to listen, you've got to be able to slow down. So you have an ability to really to to pause. There's a connection to a bigger part of you, that you're able to slow down and say, "Okay, is this right? Is this the next right
Right.
move?"
You need to listen to your angels. Like you got angels in the outfield, man. Like you gotta listen to them. But that goes with your experience, right, through life. Like that goes with everything that you've learned and that you've been honing on, that you've been paying attention to, being present. Uh, if you're present, right, you got to be able to slow down. That's what you just said. Like, yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, I almost said it. You know, like that's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like, it's funny. It's like in poker, like showing your chips, like part of not screwing up for me is like, your competitive
Keep it.
advantage. What do you have in your back pocket that makes you different?
Yeah. Yeah, well, as much as you think it's in your back pocket, I think people who know you and admire you would say, yeah, Nolan has this ability to like pause and reflect. I have a feeling people can see your.
Pretty outgoing. I mean, we've had drinks, right? Like talking to Mr. Stone after Top Gun, drinking tequila, right? Talking about, black squirrels and gray squirrels and how they're the same. It's just a pigment difference, you know?
Yeah, well, that takes some deep reflection, man. You
Right. And
you gotta be able to pause and observe and,
right. Yeah. I mean, there's beauty out there, man. You got to be able to recognize it.
Yeah, I'm just super impressed by that. And it's okay if you don't necessarily see it or feel like you're doing it
What
intentionally.
I tried not to do is think about how other people perceive me. I've what I have in my back pocket is the subtle art to not giving a fuck. My daughter's in the other room. She didn't hear that.
Yeah, that's okay.
But that's it's a self-help book, okay? Um, and it's not that long. It's like 5.5 hours on audiobooks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it helps to listen to it sometimes, to learn about what actually matters because all that other stuff's peanuts. Like, why does that consume any of your thoughts? It shouldn't, you know. Um, Learning how to organize your brain, like what should stay in there and what has, no occupancy here.
Mm,
And eh, it's kind of like that in life too. You got to learn who your friends are and know who to rely on when you need a hand up, or vice versa.
yeah. Yeah, knowing who belongs here and who belongs over there.
Yeah.
They belong here and they're over there. So what's next for you, Nolan? What do you.
Right now, I have my eyes set on starting a wastewater division. You know, Starting a confined space division within the wastewater division. Um, doing right by the contracts that we have currently and seeing them through to completion. And then maintain that,
Hmm,
and keep improving, just like a team, constant improvement. Every week you're getting better and learning, you know, when it's time to turn it on. Sometimes you need that breather, but sometimes it's like, hey man,
let's go
we
time.
gotta go,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah. All right, I got one more question.
Sure.
And this is I can we can look at this two ways. One is if you knew someone was going through what you were going through at the most difficult time in your life, what would you say? And or if you could go back and talk to that version of yourself, what would you want him to be able to hear?
Well, tell you, you're pretty good at asking questions.
Mm.
Um, you know, my younger brother went through a similar stint. Man, it floored me again, man. And I'm like, he's on a ride. He's on a ride of self-reflection here. He's gonna figure it out. But this time, having me gone through it prior, we stuck together as a family. We did what we know how to do, and that's be there. And, it might not be, physically there with him, you know, checking in, just saying, "Hey, what's up? How's your day?" You know, you gotta let them, you know, figure it out. Can't do that for them, including myself. Like, it is total self-reflection, self-realization, learning what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, therapy, helps. Like, right here, this was a great therapy session, I think. You know?
Yeah.
So, it's all what you make it, right? Like, that's what I say when I hire people. I'm like, "This is your opportunity," you know? And what your future holds is what you make it. Um, you can show up on time, you can, um, you know, pretend like you know what you're doing, or you can ask questions, or you can just flat out say, I have no freaking idea what I'm doing right now. Can you please help me?" And that's great. But like, that's what you need, right? Like, it is what you make it. If you want to learn, if you show up every day ready to go, like, that's people recognize that, man. You can see it in people's eyes, like the need, the want, and then you can also see it when they're down and they're out and they're giving up. And if you don't do anything about that, uh, which sometimes is the answer, um, you know, uh, either way, it's going to be okay, likely, sometimes things don't go okay though. And then that's when you need to step in, you know, as a family or friend and give a hand up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, this has been great, Nolan, and I'm gonna there's a lot of good stuff here, and it was really great to talk with you, and, you're on your way, dude. I'm really impressed, I gotta tell you, with
I
where
appreciate that, man.
where
Thanks
you've
for
been
saying.
and who you are now and the wisdom you've gained, you know? It's, I'm excited for you.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, it's I know when you're doing it and when you're in it, sometimes you kinda downplay it, but what you've overcome and not just overcome, but the peace you've found, and I know it's not always, but I've been doing this for a little bit, and I really understand people, and I think at the core of who you are, you found a place of peace. You found a place where you can slow down and you can listen. Like that right there, you are already in the 1%. You are. And it's a very powerful thing. I'll tell you, I work with a lot of people, especially in your world, like that pace
Man, that
for you to
gate,
be able,
it's
it's
your
like
gate,
you
man.
need to be the eye
Yeah,
of the storm, you know, and I think you know how to be the eye of the storm. And the beautiful thing is, as difficult and painful as everything has been for you, it prepared you.
oh, yeah, for life, man. Life ain't easy, and I'll tell you, it is.
And and you're bringing
Life is the hardest thing to do, right?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
and
it.
you've been you went through boot camp, man, and you know, and you're now in a place where I think you know, no matter what comes your way, you're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, there's no other option.
But for some
Success
people, that
is what you make it to, it's a perspective on, you know, how, you feel or how happy you are really, I think, it's a reflection, you know,
for
and,
sure.
it starts every morning. Like you can be, a bitter person, which there's relationships in everybody's lives that they need to work on that, sometimes that person just irks you. And it's not necessarily them. It's just, and it's not you. It's that dynamic. Just, sometimes you just don't agree, and that's okay. See it differently, but like be okay with that. Don't have a grudge. Like there's no room here for grudges.
Yeah,
Like you need
yeah,
to let that go. Go to therapy,
yeah, exactly. There you go. There you go. That's
Yeah.
wisdom, man. That's
Yeah.
wisdom. So I'm gonna let you go, man, and I'm gonna put this together. This was great. Um, and I usually take a little bit, like, to edit it and everything and get it
Yeah.
nice. So
Yeah.
I'll let you know, probably a week, maybe. We'll see. Sometimes it's faster. Um, if you're comfortable with everything we talked about, I'm not really gonna cut too much out.
Yeah.
Um, if you're okay with that.
I kept it good, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And we'll see, man. Who knows? There might be a part 2, you know?
Hey, whatever. We'll see where it goes. I
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
I gotta see some projects through.
Yeah.
Gotta
Yeah.
produce. I brought some work in, right? I got like five
Daddy.
inspectors now. Started with 0. We have roughly $2 million worth of total revenue projects right now on the wastewater side, and that just happened in a year. And we have CMs, ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inspectors, we're hiring, we're looking. Um, so, you know, like I said, there is no one second, please. There is no room for quit, right? There is no room for failure. And we are gonna be optimistic about this, and we're gonna try our best, and we're gonna do the best, and that's all we can do.
Yeah, man. I know you guys are doing well. DLZ and the companies as a whole are super busy, man. You guys
Well,
are
they are. Yeah, I'm over
right.
at QES now.
So it's not
Not
uh
even related at all.
oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually switched companies.
Got it. All right.
Yeah. But
Okay.
I mean, good transition. It was fun.
Yeah.
I don't think I burned any bridges there. Um,
No, I'm sure you did it the right way.
I called Ron. Said, "Hey,
Yes.
bud, I'm leaving." He goes, "Oh, I heard some grumbling around the office." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'm out." He's like, "All right, well, good luck." I mean, that
Yes.
was basically it. It was a good
Yeah.
conversation.
That you handled it right. You handled it right. All right, brother.
My
Thank you
boys.
so much, man. And
Yeah, absolutely. Thank
really
you. I
appreciate it.
mean,
Yeah,
really.
no, this is awesome. And keep in touch. I'm always around. Should there be anything you need, man, I'm happy to
Cheers.
connect. Yeah,
All
brother.
right, maybe a beer sometime if you're around Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I'll keep you. I'll keep. I'm there a couple times a year, maybe more. We'll see.
Cool. Cool. Sounds
But
good.
we'll keep in touch. It was good to meet River.
Yeah. Say bye, River. That's Joe.
Good night, River.
Silent treatment.
Yeah. All right, man. Enjoy the rest
All
of your
right.
night.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
thanks again, man. Really appreciate it. And we'll talk again soon. All right.
100%, man. Total respect for what you do, your message. Keep it going. Keep it
Thanks,
going.
brother. Likewise. Likewise. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. See you, Joe.
All right.
Thanks.
See you.
Bye.